So for those of you who don't know me personally, there is a lot to know about the projects that I take on, but this one in particular is a passion project of mine. This is my greenhouse. It is still considered a work in progress, but we are making massive strides on it. We've been working on this since August, and there's a lot of work that goes into building and planning a project, and there are so many things that I could share with you about learnings and lessons, and those will just have to be in a future video. But one of the things that I thought that you would possibly find interesting or cool about this project is the number of materials that we are using for this that are salvaged from our property. So, for example, the windows. Last year we changed out the windows in our house. You can see our house in the background. And we kept those windows, and we have reused or repurposed them here. They are vinyl windows. There's nothing really that special or fancy about them, but the majority of them were still in excellent condition despite their age. So we were able to repurpose those. Another thing that we were able to reuse was the timbers, that the 2x6s that we used to construct the framing. And that was, of course, a cost-saving measure, but I thought that I would show you where exactly it was that we pulled those timbers from. I'm going to go ahead and head back out again. This door we bought from Restore. It's a basic storm door, and I decided to get it in a contrasting color so that it, visually interesting. The plywood sheathing is new material. We didn't have an excess of that available to us from storage, but that's new, and some of it's pressure treated because some of it's partially buried, some of it's not pressure treated. And so that, adding the plywood sheathing is an in-progress project. You can see this trench here that's in the ground. That's the electrical we've been working on recently. Electrical is all new materials. We don't mess around with old stuff there. We also hire that trade out. Another thing that we needed for the windows, perhaps you noticed, is that the windows are not finished being installed. Part of that is there's some finish and trim work that needs to be done. And I'm actually today working on routing the edges for these window stops. And I'm just doing a basic eased edge here. You could make that with your sander. You could kind of roll the edge with a sander and kind of form a soft curve, but it takes time, and it's, I've got like 1,000 of these to do. So anyway, this is the corn crib where we've gotten a majority of our materials. Down here where you can see on the ground, those are the window stops that are the vertical pieces. Back out here is the window stops that are for the horizontal that goes across the top. And what I'll be working on today is sanding them back, looking for evidence of termite damage. Before I install these pieces into my greenhouse, I clean everything, and I use a boric acid solution, and I kind of scrub them with that. That is something that I've read you can use to kill or discourage termites and things like that from eating up your wood. So that's one of the things I've been doing. But you can see here that we've pulled a lot of the material. There used to be walls here. Like you can see the stack of plywood there. That's some 1/4-inch plywood that was used as a wall sheathing. We used the 2x6s. A lot of these were double studded. And that was for the time when there were materials being stored in the top part of this corn crib. There's not any up there anymore. And there's a lot of junk that we've, kind of collected here. It's not pretty, but, you just kind of need a landing spot when you're disassembling and cleaning up a space. But what I thought was kind of cool was that those window stops came from a stack of boards that looked like this. Not terribly beautiful, but there's still some good wood there. And it, took a little bit of time to pull some nails and things like that. But almost all of those pieces that I pulled came from boards that had gnarly looking ends and things like that. But there was still a good amount of that board that was useful. And that's kind of my whole goal with this project is to try to repurpose and reuse any materials that I possibly can. So when in the greenhouse, I'm going to be building garden boxes for that. And I'm planning on using these 2x4s. Again, not beautiful 2x4s, but there's still some good wood there. And I'll build my garden boxes using those. I've got to build a garden shed table, excuse me. And I'll use 2x4s and other materials for that. We've got to install some soffit, and you can see I've got some pieces cut here that are going to be installed as the soffit on the exterior of the building. So like I said, you know, it's not the prettiest materials, but you would be surprised at how beautifully a lot of these things clean up and how they're useful too. And that's kind of our goal, is to try to be purposeful in how we use the things here. And of course, it goes without being said that there's a cost savings that goes with that. But I mean, there is a time investment as well. So if you're thinking of doing something like this project like what we've got undertaken here, and you've got an old building that is not necessarily serving a purpose to you, this could be a way for you to get something else out of it. And and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Catherine. I'm part of the Scuts Orchard, and just sharing what we're up to here with our renovation projects, my passion projects, because I come up with a billion ideas all the time, and our travel stuff. So we definitely like to share what we can when we can, and if there are questions you have, let us know. Thanks for stopping in.